The world is burning, our oceans are heating wastelands, our Arctic is melting, our nature and wildlife have paid the price, and now we are too. Climate change, a term thrown often about now in politics and news, however, is still a highly debated topic. Well, I'm here to inform you that it is a very real issue that we are facing today. After countless years of polluting our land, oceans, and air, we are facing the consequences. But sadly, so is every other living thing on this earth. We have upset the balance of nature in the seas and on land. The effects of global warming are undeniable and felt all around the world. Today, first, I'd like to talk to you about how rising temperatures are affecting our land and wildfire seasons. Then, I'd like to talk to you about how these rising temperatures are affecting our reef and marine life. Finally, I'd like to talk to you about how these rising temperatures are affecting our Arctic and melting our ice caps. Now that you know more about global warming, let's talk about how these rising temperatures are affecting our wildfire seasons. In the last 40 years, the planet's temperature has risen due to human emissions and pollution. According to NASA, compared to the 19th century, our temperature has risen by 1.14 degrees Celsius. Since the beginning of the 19th century, humans have heavily relied on fossil fuels and burned them at a rapid pace. This continuous release of greenhouse gases has led to the absorption and trapping of the sun's energy in our atmosphere. The sun's energy, or heat, in turn warms our planet, causing the rise in its average temperature. Compared to the previous century, the largest wildfires in California's history have occurred since 2000. This year alone, more than 4 million acres have been burned to ash by the blistering heat, as per recent updates by Cal Fires brought to us by cal.gov. Now that we've talked more about how these rising temperatures are affecting our land and wildfires, let's talk about how they are affecting our reef and marine life. The ocean covers about 70% of the Earth, and as such, it makes sense that it will absorb a majority of the heat trapped in our atmosphere. According to the Marine Stewardship Council, our ocean absorbs exactly 93% of the heat found in our atmosphere and about one-fourth of the CO2 released from the burning of fossil fuels. According to research published by CNN journalist Helen Reagan this year, one of our biggest and most notable reefs, the Great Barrier Reef, has suffered its third mass bleaching in the last 5 years alone. These mass bleachings are caused by a rise in temperatures as well as acidic levels in our ocean. These mass bleachings, as you can see, leave our coral reefs white and void of life. As a result of these mass bleachings, thousands of marine life lose their habitat, protection, hunting, and breeding grounds. And as such, we are affected in our commercial fishing, and the coastal villages and cities that rely on fishing as a main source of food are heavily affected. Not only do we lose a source of food, we also lose a source of protection. Research published by UC San Diego's Institution of Oceanography shows how the ocean's reefs act as a buffer, minimizing the impact of the waves that crash to shore. Without reefs, having a nice, relaxing trip to the beach would become a hazardous and dangerous experience. Now that we know more about how rising temperatures are affecting our reefs, let's talk about how rising temperatures are affecting our Arctic and ice caps. Research by Scott Heileman with the Ocean Conservancy shows that in the last 40 years, the Arctic has lost about 95% of its oldest and thickest ice. 95%. Our ice caps are melting at a rapid rate, causing animals to lose their livelihood and their habitats. Animals that live in the Arctic and rely on the sea ice to survive are literally watching the floor and their lifeline melt right beneath their feet. Seals and penguins that rely on the ice to hide and raise their young from predators both on land and from the freezing waters are losing that protection. Polar bears, an already highly endangered animal, are losing the ice that they rely on to not only survive from drowning in the freezing waters, but also to hunt to survive for their livelihood. Without the white sheet reflecting the sun's energy off the Earth's surface, more of it is absorbed by our atmosphere, which is in turn absorbed by our ocean. The energy absorbed heats up our land, sea, and contributes to climate change. Now that we've talked about how climate change is affecting our Arctic, let's review our three main points once again. I've talked to you about how rising temperatures are affecting our land and wildfire seasons. How wildfires are becoming more frequent and intense. I've talked to you about how Rising temperatures are affecting our coral reefs, causing mass bleaching events, affecting our fisheries and our the marine life. I've also talked to you about how these rising temperatures are affecting our Arctic, melting the very environment that sustains the only life there, and how it is also perpetuating the cycle of climate change. After reviewing the very real effects climate change and global warming have on our planet, it's an undeniable fact that we have severely polluted and altered our planet's environment. We are reaping the very seeds we have sown, and all life on this planet is paying the price. However, you can still make a difference. We alone have the power to reverse what we have done. If even just half of us got together and did what was necessary, we could set the planet on a road to recovery. Of that, I am sure.